From the Stereo Sound Record Studios, your home for the best in unsigned and indie punk, rock, and metal. This is The Mosh Pit with your host, Wes Everett.
Expensive one, a long way from the sun, and I like to think on a planet near that star, a lovesick fool has just bought a house for his favorite alien. These are not important things. I don't have a lot. You can have all that I've got. I made you a fountain. I caught the sun to give it power. Your own cooling shower. And I like to think that you'll sit under it naked and think of me when I can't make it, stuck at work again. All of these are not important things. I don't have a lot. You can have all that I've got, but I'll make you happy. What do I have to do? The important thing is dark, incredible, blocking out that sun, makes me want to run, but I'm gonna catch that cloud, and I will send you storms and rain, bring you to my arms again, and you will take back what you said. Not important things. I don't have a lot. You can have all that I've got, but I make you happy. What do I have to do? The important thing is you.
Marvline, important things.
Welcome to the Mosh Pit. It's your host, Wes Everett. I am here with Tyler and Rachel of Flarelight. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. So, before we get into everything, what have you guys been up to? What has been going on in your world as far as music?
Oh man, all kinds of things.
How much time do you have?
Yeah. Well, I guess the hopefully short version, I mean, kind of like everybody else, the last couple of years, which feels like this total time vortex, but like ever since the COVID stuff happened, we're just locked away for a while. and we're working on a bunch of songs and and just sending each other stuff back and forth and working on it. And finally we kind of got to a point where we thought, yeah, I think we got some stuff we like here. So we're able to finally get together at a point and start recording it. And then the last, I guess, 6 months or so, we've kind of just been in the trenches, getting everything ready for release and prepping the singles and the artwork and all of that. So
Yeah, just pretty much hitting the ground running for the last 6 months, I guess now, huh?
yeah, I think so. Feels that way.
Something like that.
Very cool. So, with the pandemic and the lockdown, was that beneficial to you guys writing and coming up with music?
I think so. We certainly had a lot more time than we usually do to do things like that, since we couldn't tour or anything like that, be it us or with other bands. So we had tons of time to write, and some of that's kind of influenced in some of the songs anyways, like one of the new ones that we just had to talk about called Somewhere. It's kind of written about love in time of pandemic, I guess you could say, like being separated and all that stuff. But yeah, we've had plenty of time to write stuff and record and put some pretty cool songs together, and have had time to really soak them up and let them do their things on their own and become what they are, instead of having to like rush stuff out. That's kind of like where our strength is, that we don't have to make a big rush out of things like, we got to get this record out, we got to get this record out. We've had time to really, as Rachel likes to put, marinate on it and and really get these songs where they need to be. And I think we've got some good stuff.
Yeah. That said, though, we're definitely ready to get out of the house now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine that. It was not a fun past little while, has it?
It's just so weird. Gosh, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Glad everything is starting to open back up. You guys, have y'all booked your tour? Where all you're headed with the release of this new album?
We've got a release show planned in December. What's the exact date, Rachel?
December 7th.
Right.
Yeah, and then we're working on hopefully getting together some dates for 2023. So that'll kind of kick us off, and then
Yeah.
we got us and our squad are working on the rest of that.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, guys, I wish y'all the best of luck on the tour. Let's talk about some of the songs that you guys
Sure.
have recorded, written, got ready. You mentioned your latest single.
We just put out our first one. I guess it's been 3 weeks ago now, called "Make Me Sick," the lead single from the new album, and it's going over pretty well from what I can tell. And it's been great. It's a little more in your face than what people might be used to from our first album, but I think a lot of the songs on this record we've talked about before are a little more direct, as far as like whatever the style or influence, whatever you want to call it. We definitely leaned a little heavier into it this time, instead of sort of like testing the waters, I guess you could say.
I got you.
We had nothing to lose in all that time we had on our hands. So it was like,
Yeah.
with, one song would be like, do you want to make it kind of a harder, like a harder rocking thing? Sure. Yeah, let's do that. And then another one, oh, do you want to make it like, do you want to go full synth pop? Yeah, let's do that. So that's been kind of cool.
We've always kind of been that way, as far as like nothing's, I don't want to say sacred, but nothing's off limits as far as like what kind of influences we have, or what kind of song we might bring to the table. If it's good and we both like it, then we're gonna go for it, And "Make Me Sick" is definitely along the harder rocking songs, like she was saying. And then we're gonna put out a new single next week called "One More Night."
In the Whale, Drug Dealer.
Put 'em down! Drug dealer!
nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
What was it like going in the studio recording those songs? How did they come together? Were they, did you guys lay down vocals first, or was it like, okay, I've got this riff, let's build from it?
Yeah, it kind of depends on who brought the idea in first, honestly. And usually we'll start on our own and demo at our respective places, and then we'll, even before pandemic times, we would kind of do it this way, where we would demo a song at our house that we kind of had an idea for, send it to the other person, like an email or something, and then they would, either me or Rachel would put our little sheen on it and mess with little things here and there and send it back and forth until we've got a song. Basically, that's kind of the Cliff Note version of it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, which turned out, like he was saying, that we already really kind of did that before any sort of lockdowns or things like that. But it ended up being fortunate for us, because that way, like, it didn't stop us from being able to keep doing that exact process when we weren't as easily able to be together. So yeah, so we would kind of, like he said, we'd back and forth stuff until we would, and then basically we would do it until we had pretty fully formed concepts for or songs, really not even concepts anymore. And we usually are kind of MO is we just do that until we've got a whole chunk of them ready to go that we're feeling really good about. And then that's when we'll get together and like basically, re-record an official version, put all the bells and whistles on it. Yeah. And it's cool. We do that part ourselves as well, which gives us a massive amount of just creative freedom, and not as locked into like time limits of, oh well, we've got the studio for 5 hours. Like we self-engineer and produce everything so we can just go nuts on it, which is always fun. It's kind of a labor of love for us.
Oh, most definitely. And for the first record, we kind of just recorded anywhere we could, to be honest. Anywhere from my old apartment. Yeah, we did some apartment recording in Hermitage, Tennessee, outside of Nashville. Anywhere from that to someone's bathroom in New Orleans. But this time, once we had all the songs fully formed, we kind of reconvened at my studio here in Camden, Tennessee, and did most of the tracking here. But yeah, it's nice because it's not like we're renting out a big dollar studio. We can chill out and take as long as we want. Sleep on this little green couch that I'm sitting on right now if we need to. But yeah, it's nice and easy and comfortable and relaxed. And I think that's, at least for me, that's kind of ideal for creating like we do.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. I love it. I love that, you're able to do it wherever you can. Even the recording it in, Louise, in the bathroom, in the apartment. Do you get those like background noises where it's like, well, that's just going to have to be in there?
I mean, yeah, sometimes, and sometimes that's kind of cool too. Like, and then, it's easy to sort of say like, oh, we recorded in this bathroom, but it was totally on purpose. Like we wanted a certain sound, and we had the amp set up in there, and it was just kind of perfect for what we were doing then. But yeah, and then sometimes if a little trickle of noise filters in, and we're like, that's kind of cool. I can't remember what song it was. I don't think it was one that we actually ended up using, but it seems like there was like a door squeak or something like that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
And we were like, oh, that's kind of really cool. Let's keep that.
Yeah, I thought you did it on purpose, but somebody had opened a door and it squeaked and it sounded creepy and weird.
Yeah, because it had some effects on it. We're like, ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I know, like, I remember when we were recording, because basically we were using a friend of mine's bathtub because they had for reverberation, because we're very technical. But I remember one of the days we were doing that, she was doing laundry, like in the little building right next to it, or, like on the other side of the wall. And so we were like, oh crap, like we got to wait an hour before we can record because the dryer, was like tumble drying. So yeah, so we on purpose sometimes pick these weird spots just to kind of put your character into the sound. But there are the occasional times where, like with the drying of the laundry, that we're like, well, I guess.
Wasn't that the same time that we sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's it.
At the same time that we did some vocals there too, and it was like winter time, and we had to turn off the heater because it was making so much noise, and we were just freezing
Yes.
our asses off trying to do vocals.
Yeah, and I mean it's New Orleans winter, so like grain of salt. But to be fair, it's always really humid down here. So even if it's like 48 degrees, which isn't cold, if it's 48 and like really kind of just damp feeling, you'll feel pretty cold.
And
And
then
exactly, we had to turn off the heat because it was too noisy, and so we were just like bundled up, freezing, trying to sing the vocals.
I think we did the same thing during some of the recordings for this
Oh,
new
yeah.
album too, because whenever we were doing your vocals, we had to turn the heat off once, and it was whenever we had that it was like a snow or ice storm either this year or
Yeah.
last year, right?
That was kind of fun. I'm
And
bringing
you
slippers
had
next
like
time, though.
3 coats on or something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, we're clearly it's super glamorous, our
Yeah.
process.
And we tend to ramble on about things whenever we start talking about music, so bear with us.
No, it's perfect. I enjoy stories like that because at the same time, I'm here in my studio and we don't have it's a basement. So there's no
Yeah.
central heat or air. So in the summertime, it's really warm. And I usually
Oh, yeah.
keep the fan on, but you can't have the fan on and then try to record because you get that low in the
Oh,
back.
yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, I can't hide that. I'll just have to sweat for 30 minutes.
Yeah, we've had some sweat lodge moments too.
Yeah.
The life, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
that's exactly like I feel like I think it's funny because I think a lot of times people who've not ever done that type of thing, like are under the impression that it's like very glamorous or whatever. But I suppose it can be, but I know more people with stories of all the times it's been very unglamorous. So I think they're
It's
kind of fun to
sterile
share.
and things and not really conducive to creativity, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I like it the way that we do it too. Or another reason that I like sort of doing it on our own is because of that too.
But hey, those make the best stories. Am I right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's get into your influences. Who's have you guys pulled from as far as made your own style and really had that backing of the kind of music you do?
Oh dear. Like everything that's ever influenced us, I guess you could say, any band. But you can start, Rach.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, so many. I definitely grew up like as a teenager and everything. My dad got me all really into just kind of the old classic rock stuff. So like the Led Zeppelins and the Hearts and the Tom Pettys and that type of thing. But then especially with this stuff, just because we try to kind of push ourselves to branch out with different styles. Like we always say, both of us really, really dig Fantagram and just the way that they put together different sounds. And so that's definitely an inspiration. We like Wolf Alice, Churches. I mean, gosh, I like the War on Drugs. There's a lot of different stuff that I think comes through in little bits and pieces. And
Yeah, it's just the way it is,
Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting a billion other people. It's like when everyone's like, "What's your favorite band?" and you're like,
Yeah. But I mean, there's so many things that I think are kind of obvious individually whenever you hear us play or hear a song, like vocal influences, everything from, at least for me, Chris Cornell, anything from Chris to Benjamin Gibbard, really, like even some of the soft stuff that I do is kind of got his little twinge to it. The guy from Death Cab.
"Oh, yeah."
But yeah, I mean, there's just so many different things. I mean, obviously there's Queen, obviously there's like at least from a drumming standpoint, there's definitely some Rush in there sometimes. Not that like we've gone all prog on you or something, but just like on fills and things, and then guitar. Rachel's got Nancy written all over her.
Oh yeah, every time I pick up an acoustic guitar, I'm like trying to channel Nancy Wilson. She's my favorite.
Who They Fear, Defects.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of all over the map, to be honest. Like obviously we've been rattling off rock influences, but yeah, we've definitely got quite a few synthy things happening on a couple of these tracks.
Oh
But
yeah. I mean, and even like I like nerd alert. Well, Taylor and I were both in band in school growing up, and
yeah.
so I won't take that all on me. But I mean, like I love movie soundtracks and things like that. So there's little bits like we actually put a little bit of orchestration in the end of one of the songs on the upcoming album, which had been something that I'd kind of been dying to do forever. Just because I really kind of love some of that sort of parts arrangement and being a little extra on it. So kind of like with some, I guess, like sort of a Florence and the Machine type of influence. So there's like I like to have it get a little bit orchestral like that sometimes too. Even not always with the actual orchestral instruments. Sometimes I use guitars and effects and things to kind of create that feel. But that there's definitely you can tell when I've gotten busy with something like that on something.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. And that's on an upcoming track called Meteors on the new record.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Very
we're
cool.
quite excited about.
Yeah, definitely gonna be on the lookout for that one.
Oh yeah.
So I've got to ask about being the drummer and the guitarist from the Queen and Adam Lambert. What was it like playing the Queen's Jubilee?
Oh, it was snap your finger and it's over. We did like five, I think we played like 5, 6 minutes or something like that. Maybe it was eight
It
or
had to have
something.
been more than that.
I mean, Rock You and Champions are short songs. Maybe
Guess
it was
so.
10 minutes because I guess we did three. But yeah, man, it was crazy. I mean, whenever we get there and we kind of have an idea because we know we kind of did uh mini rehearsals beforehand with uh plotting out these little points where you got to stand because we didn't have a stage set up or anything. And then Adam's like a football field away walking towards us, and we're like, God, this is going to be huge. And we get there, and we know that the stage is going to be set up in front of the Queen Victoria statue. So we kind of have an idea of little bits of ideas of what it's going to be like. But you get there, and everything's set up, and everyone's getting ready to do this rehearsal, and you see they've got the mall blocked off. They've got it gated off so we can do our sound check without people in the stands. But they're already there. They're already waiting. Hundreds of thousands of people, and you just look down what that road is because you can't really see down it because there's so many people, but you just realize how many people it is, and it just blows your mind. And then you finally get up there and you see sort of the royalty on stage left, and then the what British people call fans, punters on stage right. And it's just filled with throngs of people, and then it's just overwhelming kind of, but you're there to do your job and you just kind of do it, and then it's over. But it was crazy, man. And now obviously we're lucky it even happened, to be fair, but
Yeah.
it's something I'll never forget for sure.
What was the reception afterward? Was there a lot of fans, just coming up, talking to you guys, interacting, or was it just like, all right, you're done, get out of here?
Well, since we were still kind of navigating touring during COVID, there wasn't a whole lot of fan interaction unless it was online, and everyone was just going crazy. It seems like I couldn't get away from it, even if I wanted to, which I didn't. But it was just like no matter where you looked, and especially because we opened the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
it was just all over. It was for like a good couple of weeks. It was kind of the talk of the seems like the world. But it was, yeah, man. It's one of my parents' favorite words. It was surreal. But yeah, and people still talk about it too. I mean, and I think maybe that has something to do with the Queen passing too, that it kind of got brought back up again. But yeah, I mean, it was inescapable for a little while. It was nuts. I know I keep saying the same thing. It's just I still can't find the exact right words for it sometimes.
Oh yeah. No, I understand. I do. That is just, I mean, it's so cool. Plus, I mean, no other reign as long as hers,
Yeah,
and it'll probably
70
never
years
be matched.
for sure.
But that's awesome. I'm so glad you guys got to play it because I got to watch it. Y'all were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just gonna say it. But
Yeah, it was pretty rad. And Brian coming up out of the statue naturally. He's gonna had his awesome big entrance.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was so cool. So cool.
So moving from Queen to Flarelight,
Yeah.
was there a big transition or was it just like, okay, well, this is us. This is what we do.
I don't think so. I mean, both of us we have gigs where we play other music like with me with Queen.
Mhm.
But we talk about this all the time where it's so much fun and we're so lucky to be able to do things like that. But with Flarelight, that's our baby and it's our creative outlet too,
Mhm.
So whenever it comes time for us to do stuff, that's definitely the thing that we're most excited about because we get to make our own music, and I don't know, at least for me, like whenever it's time, it's easy to get right back into it because like I said, it's our baby and it's our thing, and it's you got to have a creative outlet, and for us it's Flarelight.
Yeah, and like you said, like because we both will definitely play stuff with other people, but we've been just kind of working on the Flarelight stuff like whenever we were just able to in between other things. I guess the idea kind of the like Flarelight sort of unofficially started around 2016. But
Yeah.
even prior to that, like Tyler and I have known each other for I think like right around a decade now. So even with the like Tyler doing a Queen tour, or me playing with other people, it's easy to always still like I think that regardless of who we play with, like we'll always still circle back around and be doing Flarelight stuff because like we just enjoy it so much. So
Yeah.
but it is more grassrootsy, I'm guessing, than Queen.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And those are the bands that we promote. We want more bands to grow and become the new Queen, the new AC/DC,
Yeah,
We
I mean,
appreciate
somebody's
that.
got to.
Yeah.
That's right. They ain't gonna be around forever. I mean, Rolling
Yeah.
Stones probably will be, but
Keith
Yeah,
is never
Keith is
going to
going to
die,
outlive
but
all of us.
Flarelight, make me sick.
need you. I don't want you. I just need you. I don't want you. I just need
So, let everybody know where they can find you on all social medias.
Let's see. So we're probably the most active on Instagram. That we're Flarelight Official on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. I think Flarelight, or the handle might also be Flarelight Official, but I think if you search Flarelight, you'll find us. And then Twitter, we had to be Flarelight Music because Flarelight Official was too long. So we're sad about it too.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's the only, like, I wanted it to be Flarelight Official, but
Yeah.
it was too many. It was like one or two too many characters. So I was like, crap.
Come on, Elon, change it.
I know. So that's the situation there. On our website, you can find info about us, as well as, if you want to pick up vinyl, CDs, we have pretty cool stickers.
Shirts.
Shirts, flarelightofficial.com. And you can also get like info about shows or things there. Those are the main ones. Oh, we have a TikTok. We're still learning how to use it. We're elderly, and by elderly, I mean we're not 20 anymore.
Yeah.
But we're not actually elderly. But but we do have one of those. I think that one is also Flarelight Official. So when in doubt, Flarelight Official.
There you go. That's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. All over Spotify and music
Mhm.
and all that stuff.
All the main, digital. And we have a Vivo now. That's pretty cool.
Hey.
So feeling fancy on the YouTube.
There you go. Before I let y'all run away, there's a couple of them that I'd like to ask just to see, what the plans are for the future. And one of those is, what are your 3 goals for the next 12 months?
Oh boy.
I feel like I'm being interviewed for a job.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, what's your
Where do you see
5-year
yourself
plan?
in 5 years?
Yeah. Well, let's see. But
I guess there's some obvious ones, I suppose, like, getting out on the road. That's definitely one, to play all these songs for people finally.
Yeah, definitely that. I would love to get on a couple festivals if possible. I've done those with other bands, and it's so fun. So yeah, that's one.
And even though it's obviously going to happen, I'm just ready for this album to come out.
Yeah.
It feels like we've been waiting forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
which it comes out November 11th, I do believe is the right thing.
Yes, that's correct. November 11th.
For your ear holes.
Yeah. And I guess, just lastly, so yeah, touring, getting the album out there.
World domination.
World domination. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Also, we'll be dropping the show on November 10th.
Oh, nice.
So
tomorrow, get get our album.
That's right.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. I had to think about that one for a second. Like, wait a minute. Hey. Oh yeah,
Very
Not
cool.
tomorrow, to like right now, tomorrow, but
like
future
future
us.
tomorrow,
Future.
future
Yeah.
us, future us.
When you hear this tomorrow,
That's very Bill and Ted.
don't forget to wind your watch.
Yeah.
Those of you who
Check
get that
it or
joke. Do you guys have any advice for any bands trying to make a name for themselves in the music industry?
Just be true to yourself and don't try to ride on the latest trend. If you've got something that's really going to touch people, it's going to be something that comes from you and not from just trying to copy the latest thing.
Yeah.
And even if whatever comes out of you is sort of on the same sort of trail as something that's out right now, that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. But as long as you follow what's inside, I feel like I'm like a guidance counselor or something. If you follow
your heart.
No, but I mean, it's just as long as if you are writing something that means something to you and you're not doing it for trending or money or whatever, then someone's going to notice and you're going to touch someone like that. And for me, that's the biggest thing. Like as long as the stuff that you're writing means something to someone else as much as it does to you, then I think you've already won.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. And I always tell people to, if you're gonna try to do it, that you're gonna get told no way more times than you're gonna get told yes. But that's okay, and you just gotta like, don't let the no's get you down, because it doesn't mean that you're terrible or anything like that. It's just that's just kind of the nature of it. And you gotta just keep getting out there and working at it, and getting better and finding people like with us. One of our biggest assets is just that we really enjoy writing together and playing together and working together. And if you can find your people, where you just have this kind of great, like chemistry, and you can create well together, that's huge. So just, stick around through it, find your people, and you'll be all right.
And you never really know whenever something's going to come along, because it can almost blindside you sometimes.
It probably almost guaranteed will blindside you. Yeah, I would say that.
Jana Jennings, 1043.
Looking out the window at the train station where you've been. Looking into my mind, see the words I've been holding in. In the middle of an empty room, looking around and thinking you're my doom. Don't look at me in the eye.
advice. It was really good advice. And you mentioned the nose. The one piece of advice that
What
honestly,
about my nose?
getting a
Sorry.
no answer. This was something that was actually told to me not long ago, and I like to pass it on because I love this advice. Is that when you're told no, you're not taking a step back. You're just in the same position you were.
Right.
A no
Totally.
is not a negative. It's just a, hey, it's not the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be fuel sometimes too.
Mhm.
Right. And sometimes, like sometimes it's maybe, one no, what seems devastating, but then you get a different yes later that you weren't even expecting in the first place that ends up being better than the no that you had been going after, so. And
Absolutely.
it's hard to sometimes keep that in perspective if you feel like you're just, killing yourself trying to out in, like in the trenches, so to speak. But you got to try your best to hold out for that, because that totally can happen. Like Tyler's saying with the blindsided yeses and stuff. I mean, like I won't speak for you, but I have the feeling that you never thought that you were gonna end up playing with actual Queen.
Oh, hell no.
That's like not something that you're just like, oh yes, if I'll do this and then I'll go do this and then Queen will call me. Like, that stuff just kind of comes out of nowhere.
That was
So.
never ever on my radar.
Yeah. So there you go.
There you go. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all sitting in on this, and I'm looking forward to the new EP or full album.
Full album.
Full album, even better. Looking forward to the tour. Let me know if you guys are coming through Atlanta, because I think that'd be pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that would definitely be awesome. There's a lot of, I guess they're all still there, like Smith's Old Bar and all that stuff.
All of them are still there.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Very cool. Might even tag them in the show to give them a little heads up. Hey, these guys are coming. Make room.
I think you should do that.
Hell yeah.
Sweet. Y'all come to Atlanta, you've got to come to the studio.
Absolutely.
That's the only rule,
That's
just
the
a rule.
only stipulation.
That's right.
Yeah. Gotcha. I think we can make that happen.
Yeah, we won't fight you on that.
Awesome. Well, y'all, thank y'all so much, and I hope you have a good rest of your weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having us.
Anytime. Later, y'all.
Bye.